Ah, come to see the show.
Welcome to another year at Hogwarts.
Well, you seem to like the Harry Potter stories, so how about if I tell you the next one? Here's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
So we see that Harry is back at his aunt and uncle's house, where he's practicing magic.
Are you deaf? Put that light out.
And the light is apparently waking up his Uncle Vernon. His sister Marge comes to visit, and she is so nice, just like his uncle.
He'd have been straight into an orphanage if he'd been dumped on my doorstep.
She badmouths Harry's parents, orders him around, and tries to get the dog drunk.
I'd like a nice cup of tea or a large brandy.
Well, Harry doesn't like this, and makes her fatter than she already is. She inflates and flies away.
The fat lady, she's gone.
But her clothes magically stay intact.
Clearly, it's full of dark magic.
Vernon and Petunia freak out, but Dudley could give a crap. Like he sees this kind of thing every day. Harry packs his things and runs away to the park, where everything is super wet, and has rabid dogs by the merry-go-round. He's saved by a ghost bus that services homeless wizards and is driven by a blind guy.
This is very wise.
We see in the paper that Sirius Black,
he's a murderous raving lunatic,
has escaped from the inescapable prison Azkaban. He arrives, barely, at the Leaky Cauldron, an inn for magic people. The Minister of Magic is there waiting for him, and tells him that he knows what he did to his aunt, but everything's cool, which is like getting a presidential pardon for not doing the dishes.
But he's not supposed to do magic outside of Hogwarts.
Well, he doesn't act like it's a big deal because
you're safe, and that's what matters.
And says that they fixed her and wiped her memory. He even went so far as picking up his school books for him. And I'm wondering how he's got the time for this when he's got to worry about a murderer on the loose. Must be because Harry's famous. The next morning, one of the books tries to eat him.
Turn to page 394.
And then he goes downstairs to see Ron and Hermione. It seems like he decided to run away from home the day before school starts.
He's always doing that.
Arthur Weasley pulls him aside and tells him that he's in danger because Sirius Black escaped to find him. He's one of Voldemort's servants and thinks that Harry is in the way of him coming back. They board the Hogwarts Express, where it breaks down on the bridge and freezes over. This ghoul comes on it and sucks Harry's face off. This random guy that was passed out in their cabin wakes up and shines a flashlight wand at it, and it goes away. This thing was a security guard from the prison looking for Sirius, and it seems that the passed out guy is the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, Professor Lupin.
God, this place has gone to the dogs. Wait until my father hears that Dumbledore's got this oaf teaching classes.
And a drunk too, no doubt.
Dumbledore warns them that the Dementors will be at Hogwarts until Black is caught, and they'll kill anyone who gets in the way. The next day in class, Hermione was hiding under the table or something.
Where did you come from?
And then the teacher tells Harry that he's gonna die. They then go to Hagrid's class, where he wants Harry to pet a hippogriff, a creature that will kill you if you don't kiss its ass before you touch it.
Ew.
It's just a metaphor, dude.
Harry earns its respect and gets to pet Buckbeak. Malfoy gets jealous that Harry gets to ride it, and then tries without treating him like a princess.
I think it's time we teach Weaselby how to respect his superiors.
It attacks Draco, and Hagrid takes him to the nurse, leaving the rest of the class alone with an angry animal.
What do they think they're doing?
Professor Lupin has them face this thing called a boggart, a shapeshifter that turns into the thing you're afraid of most. But he teaches them a spell that makes it look stupid though. Later, the students are going on a field trip into town, and I bet Harry wishes that he would have told Vernon that he would bring Marge back if he signed his permission slip now.
So they can go into the dangerous forest with all these mean creatures in it for detention, and then bring some of them into classes. Then they won't cancel Quidditch matches when someone is trying to murder Harry, and won't close the school when children are being attacked by a monster. But Harry can't go to the candy store because he doesn't have a permission slip?
Are you incapable of restraining yourself, or do you take pride in being an insufferable know-it-all?
But you'd think that they would have cancelled this trip due to Sirius being spotted in the area.
It would be inappropriate.
All the Gryffindors come back, and they find that the opera singer that guards their door is missing. Her painting is scratched, and now she's hiding behind a hippo, because she's afraid of him.
Sirius Black!
And it seems that none of the hundreds of paintings in the building saw him, despite them being nosy bastards. They seal the gates, so the murderer will now be locked inside with the children, but they make them sleep on the cafeteria floor.
It's like ringing the dinner bell, for Christ's sake.
Professor Snape comes in and teaches them about werewolves, and Draco sends Harry a love note.
At least someone's enjoying himself.
They have a Quidditch match the next day in a storm where the kids are being electrocuted and their brooms set on fire. There are also Dementors flying around, and they attack Harry again.
Is it true you fainted?
Harry is trying to sneak out of the school using the invisibility cloak, but George and Fred see his footprints and give him the Marauders map, a map that shows you where everyone in Hogwarts is. And then he uses it to meet up with Ron and Hermione. But Draco and his friends are picking on them, so Harry turns invisible and fights back, but somehow doesn't have footprints now.
What you fell over for? I won't have this namby-pamby, wishy-washy nonsense about not beating people who deserve it.
He overhears Professor McGonagall talking to the Minister of Magic about how this guy Peter Pettigrew was killed along with Harry's parents, and that Sirius Black is Harry's godfather. And this upsets Harry.
Why?
I don't know, maybe he doesn't like that his parents were Catholic. Well, he runs off and has footprints again, and his friends chase him. They find him crying, where he swears that if Sirius finds him, he's gonna kill him. That's right, an insane murderer that all these wizards fear is going to be taken down by a 13-year-old boy who passes out when he sees a fake Dementor. And this happens when Professor Lupin is training him to use the Patronus charm, which basically turns happy memories into guardian angels or some crap.
What a load of rubbish.
Well, he tries it again, and it works, but not nearly as strong as it could.
Well, that's not good enough, not nearly good enough.
They go to see Hagrid, who's just come back from court in his best fur coat, and tells them that Buckbeak is going to be killed after attacking Draco. And with all the spells and potions that they could use to kill him, they would rather cut his head off at a school full of children.
Just do it.
That night, Harry's looking at the map and sees that Peter Pettigrew, the guy that Sirius killed, is walking around the school. And it's so lucky that McGonagall went into such detail about Peter Pettigrew, because now Harry knows something's fishy.
Little lump of a boy.
He goes to find him, but all he finds is an empty hallway. That is, until Professor Snape catches him. Lupin gets him away from Snape and takes him to his classroom and yells at him for wandering around the castle in the middle of the night while there's a murderer looking for him.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
But Harry doesn't question how Lupin knows what he had was a map or how he knows how to use it. He just tells him that he saw a dead guy walking around on it. And for some reason, Lupin doesn't look into it to see if he's right.
I don't pretend to be an expert, Harry.
They go to see Hagrid right before Buckbeak is about to be decapitated, but bump into Draco and Hermione punches him.
How about face punch?
So he runs away crying.
I didn't mean to offend you or anything.
Hagrid gives Ron his rat, Scabbers, back, and then tells them to run out the back so Dumbledore and the Executioner don't see him. They then stick around to watch Buckbeak get killed.
Who cares?
Scabbers bites Ron, and they chase it by this whomping willow tree where Ron is attacked by this mangy dog.
If there's something wrong with the bitch, then there's something wrong with the pup.
And dragged into the tree. Harry and Hermione get the crap kicked out of them by the tree, and then manage to get thrown into the hole in its trunk that somehow has a slide in it. They follow the path to the Shrieking Shack, where they find Sirius Black is just standing in the corner for some reason.
But if you don't mind me saying, it was pretty obvious.
Turns out, he was the dog.
How?
He's what they call an animangus, someone who can shapeshift into an animal.
Like Jacob?
Jacob's kind of a werewolf.
Kind of.
An animagus is a wizard who elects to turn into an animal. A werewolf has no choice.
Anyway, Harry attacks Sirius, but Lupin comes in and stops him. And we see that Lupin is actually happy to see Sirius.
Great man! Says he wants to be with me.
And then Hermione pulls Lupin out of the closet for being a werewolf.
Well, let's just say that I'm used to it by now.
They then stupidly keep talking like they want to kill Harry, instead of just telling them that Peter Pettigrew was the one who betrayed the Potters.
That's not really your concern, is it?
Snape comes in and tries to arrest them. Apparently the Dementors were at lunch or something, or maybe they only attack kids. I don't know. But Harry disarms Snape, and Sirius reveals Scabbers to be Pettigrew. Lupin and Sirius are about to kill Peter, but Harry stops them because his dad would be upset if his best friends turned into murderers.
Oh, but it's okay if his son does it. He's been planning to kill Sirius this whole time.
He thought he was avenging them, so it would have been revenge, not murder.
There's no difference.
Yeah, I know. So Harry convinces them to take them to the Dementors, but don't restrain him, even though he can change into a rat. It's also slipped their mind that the Dementors are still looking for Sirius, and Lupin forgot that it was a full moon, and turns into this anorexic wolf basketball player hybrid.
Suffice it to say that your professor finds himself incapable of teaching at the present time.
Sirius turns back into a dog and fights him, but Lupin hears a mating call and would rather see what's up with that.
Well, you sort of went rigid.
The Dementors come for Sirius, and Harry uses the Patronus spell, but it only kinda works.
How disappointing.
But then, this neon deer comes from the other side of the lake and scares them off before they can get his soul. Harry wakes up to find out that Sirius is about to be executed, so Dumbledore tells Hermione to go back in time to save him.
I'm not going back.
So it turns out, she's been using this time machine that McGonagall gave her to take extra classes.
Nerd.
So they go to Hagrid's and throw rocks at themselves to let them know that people are coming. They release Buckbeak and lure him into the woods with a dead ferret necklace. And Dumbledore is very chill about Buckbeak going missing, so he either knows what's going on or doesn't care. While they wait, Harry tells Hermione that Sirius asked him to live with him, and then he starts planning their future together, like a schoolgirl with a crush.
It'll just be me and him. We could live in the country, someplace you can see the sky.
Well, during the fight with Lupin, turns out that Hermione was the one who made the mating call, and now he wants to hump her leg.
You're supposed to stroke it.
He finds them, but Buckbeak saves them. Harry runs over to the exact spot he saw the deer, but wonders why his dad isn't coming.
Harry, your dad's
Dead, I know.
He then casts the spell and tells her that he knew he could do it because he already did it.
How?
No idea.
They go to get Sirius and know that they can't be seen, but Hermione doesn't mind screaming outside all these windows.
No one was screaming, Harry.
And then they do it again after they break him out. Sirius takes off on Buckbeak right before the bell starts chiming. They run back to the hospital, where they're mean to Ron for no reason.
You foul, loathsome, evil little cockroach!
The next morning, Harry goes to see Lupin, who tells him that he resigned because parents wouldn't approve of a werewolf teaching their kids.
But now it's out in the open for everyone to see.
But since they use Latin for all their spells, shouldn't they see his last name is Lupin and go, oh, that guy's a werewolf? He also receives a new broom, because I'm sure Sirius knew about the Dementors ruining it in the Quidditch match.
Speaking of brooms, why didn't they just take those up to save Sirius?
Shut up. If they didn't go back in time, then Buckbeak would be dead. The real follow-up questions are, why wasn't he being guarded at all by the professional prison guards? And why did he decide to fly away at the exact moment that all these things would be flying to the tower to kill him?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? Listen to the idiot. He's really laying it on thick, isn't he?
Mischief managed.
I think they're funny.
Will you subscribe, please?
Come on, don't be shy.
Oh, you're still here, are you?
That's enough for today.
See you later.
Good night.